Welcome back to AM Northwest. Is your career at a crossroads? Here to share insights into whether you should move up or move on. We welcome back executive coach and personal brand strategist, Dr. Carol Parker Walsh. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I know a lot of people go through that. Should I stay around? Do I move up? Do I get another job? What do I do?
Yeah, and that has been pretty much going around a lot recently. I know a lot of people are at that kind of crossroads.
After the quarantine, people are like,
definitely. And where once it used to be that, it just matters if I have good salary and benefits, and not to say those things don't matter, but right now people are more interested in, if I'm doing something that matters, right? Is it purposeful? Do I feel passionate about it? Does it excite me? Does it, it's my get out of bed reason, kind of thing.
So that exactly leads to the first point that you make, which is you need to reconnect to your purpose and your passion.
Yeah, you definitely need to kind of rethink and revisit, maybe the reason that you started at that company, those reasons no longer exist for you, right? Or maybe you've been in IT, but what's excited you over the years is the fact that you got to do a lot of training, so you really want to work with people.
Right.
So you maybe want to do something different, in terms of maybe when you came out of college and you started there, or maybe you transferred there and you're really grown in terms of your expertise and your experience and the things that really light you up. So you want to take a moment and get in touch with what really excites you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you say to look for growth opportunities in your own industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And even in the organization, it could be that you have reached the pinnacle of all you can do within the company, right? You've taken on all the roles, or you can only go so far in your career in that particular organization. So you want to look for where are the opportunities. If you know what your passion and your interests are, right? You know really what it is that you want to do. Where can you actually step into that and still have growth opportunity to continue to grow and flourish in your career? It may be with that organization. So if there are, look for projects, look for other opportunities, look for other roles within the organization. But if it's not in the organization, you want to do a little recon to figure out maybe where else in your industry that you actually can grow and move to the next level. And this is where networking is really critical at this point, because having those conversations with people who are either in other organizations within your industry can give you really good insight around positions and fields that you may never heard of before. One of the things that happened since COVID is that there are a lot of new positions that were created as a result of that, right? There's a lot of focus on wealth and on health and well-being and things of that nature. And so some people are moving into completely different areas in their career, into fields that they didn't even know existed before.
Which is why the recon is important, because we can always, all of us can say things are greener, elsewhere, and then you talk to someone elsewhere and things aren't all that green.
Absolutely. So having an opportunity to talk to people who are maybe in other companies or in other fields that are really interesting to you, they can give you the real deal on what it's like. And always make sure to know that just because they love it does not mean that you'll love it either. So you really want to start with understanding your purpose, like what's your passion, what really excites you, so that when you are networking, you know how to ask the best questions to get the best answers, to know this is the right move for you.
And I would think too, you want to find out about the culture of the workplace.
Absolutely.
It can be the same industry, different places.
Absolutely.
And they're very different.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons a lot of people are considering moving on as opposed to moving up, because they realize that their own personal values aren't aligned with the organization's values, right? Or where the organization is heading or going, or maybe they used to they are under different management, or they had a reorg or something of that nature. And so what it was when you got there is not what it is today. And so even though you may have opportunities to grow and flourish, isn't the place that you want to grow and flourish. And so you want to make sure that the things that are important to you, maybe you want to spend more time with your family and you want more flexibility, right? Or maybe you want to go back to school, or maybe you want to do some transition and the company is not as supportive of you to do that. And if that's the case, then it's time to think about moving on.
Is that what you mean by check for workplace value alignment, if it aligns with your values?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by that. And that is so critical. I did a talk recently with an organization, and I talked about this question that I saw in a magazine years ago that asked the question, what did you leave behind when you came to work today? And it really was about, what pieces of your authentic self were not able to show up in the workplace, because you couldn't be your real self, because the culture of the organization is one that doesn't make you feel comfortable to show up in your full self, to be fully present. And so if things of that nature, if there's not an alignment and so that you can flourish and be your full self within the workplace, then you may want to determine whether or not that's the right place for you.
You also say to prep for the move you want, which makes me think of dress for the job that you want, not the job you have.
Absolutely, right. Yeah, and so if you do decide, whether you decide to move up within the organization because maybe it does have alignment and there are growth opportunities and you do find that your passions are right there in the organization, or whether you decide to leave, you want to position yourself for success in either situation. You want people to know what it is that you have to offer. And a lot of this is around personal branding, right? So you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is what it needs to be, that the narrative and the bio that you've put together really speaks to what you can accomplish and the results you can deliver, so that if you are looking to make a move, when people see all of that digital footprint of yourself, then they know this is somebody that we want to bring on board. And this is a practice that anyone should do. I think every few years people should actually engage and ask themselves these questions and make sure that their brand is on point, so that if they are ready to move up or move on, they're already well positioned to make that happen.
Like they can make, I remember a time when I started getting up earlier because a job that I wanted, you would have to get up earlier. And then I just got myself used to that idea of getting up early.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're going to, commute or things of that nature, right? If you're going to go someplace different, you may just want to shift your behaviors and shift your patterns
just
to make sure,
things.
That you're ready to step into whatever the next opportunity is.
All good points, Carol. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.